Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful empowered harmonizers. We're zooming in and focusing in on a popular viewer question, so I figured it might as well be opportunity to zoom in and focus in a little bit more in depth in understanding the manipulative techniques of a female psychopath. A female psychopath, essentially, if we look at the understanding, it is an antisocial personality disorder. However, what you see on the outside of these individuals oftentimes is very different than antisocial. In other words, they might seem extremely social or sociable, very talkative, very quote-unquote extroverted, what you might consider very talkative or charming. They work a room, they work a family, they work an office, they work a neighborhood, they work a profession, they work a career, oftentimes this way. In other words, just catching people and reeling them in through deception, betrayal, and really, true to their description by Dr. Robert Hare as an intraspecies predator. So just like you might see a lion that goes after prey that they want to devour, a female psychopath is much the same way. But what you see on the outside is not what you're getting from a heart center or in the inside. Someone who is psychopathic has no conscience. They have no remorse. They have no regret. All they see is opportunity to get what they want. So there's an extreme lack of empathy. So they might project, especially in a way that is betraying to people, they might project that they are empathetic. They might project that they are caring. They might project that they are in a relationship that is intimate, that is loving, that is honest. However, what is really going on underneath the surface is the reality, the truth. So a lot of people get swept up by the persona, the image that they're playing in the relationship, the fantasy that the female psychopath knows quite well that they are engulfing their objects of targeting to. So this oftentimes is done through a mimicking of other people. So they will mimic other people in their, especially their body language, to sort of get on pace with them. And this can be very destructive when it comes to the devaluing and the discarding phase. In other words, the female psychopath will do everything in their power to appear as if, and to basically size up your personality and find your weak spots very quickly. So it's important to understand that this is not your average Sally. This is not your average gal. This is someone who oftentimes can be very boisterous. They can seem to have a lot of energy. Very giggly, very seductive. Oftentimes seductive not only in the sexual way, but in sort of really almost like an energetic vacuum. Everyone seems to, they're just looking for people that they can pull along in their parade. It's basically the me hit parade, and aren't I so great? Aren't I so wonderful? Aren't I, so giving, nurturing? Don't I make you feel like a man? Don't I make you feel strong? In other words, how they are making this person feel is to fill in their void or their need. So they're able to suss out very quickly and basically like have it ding, 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 all lit up in a crowd. They've got this star over their head and then the arrow pointing this way. Get this one. I mean, to them, it's like neon, who to target in a group. They know who to go after. In other words, who to get caught up in their sticky web. So they will usually approach with flattery and just sort of, it seems as if they're, they're needing you if you need to be needed. They are humbling of themselves to kind of get into your inner circle, oh, I really need you for this, or you're such an expert at that. You are, such a gentleman, you did this, and then here comes the little gifts. So there's going to be these rewards that they will basically plant these seeds of what seems to be a reward aspect. In other words, it gives you a feeling of feel-good oxytocin and then a bonding with them right away. And the bond can be very, very quick. In other words, I just like this person right away. I don't know why it is. My eyes are glued on them. There's this feeling of not being able to take your eyes or your ears off this person. A lot of people then tend to misinterpret this as love, as caring, as affection, as then the answer to my prayers. In other words, they will play people as a fiddle. And people don't realize it because they have a facade, but then the facade drops off. And you might find out certain, information about them as the relationship continues, but it's very important to understand that these individuals do not have a conscience and they are very opportunistic, meaning they're going to use whatever it is that they have, especially as a source of distraction to break you down. So it might be their body, it might be their money, it might be their profession, it might be their legs. I mean, they're going to use some aspect of their being to basically flaunt in front of you. The seduction, the seductress. And wow, I've never had, somebody so exciting and stimulating and so all this in my life before. So, especially when we're talking about love relationships, you've got these people who are essentially drooling after them. And I would say really the telltale sign is your eyes feel glued on this person. In other words, you can't stop looking at them. You're always putting them first. There's this clamoring for attention. You can't seem to pry yourself away. And oftentimes it feels like because you don't want to miss something, or this person is so unique in the way that they make you feel that you want more. And this is the setting up of addiction. It's playing into their trap. You don't realize it, but you are being baited and targeted by a psychopath. And the end result is eventually, unfortunately, to hurt, to destroy, to ruin, to smear campaign, to make you feel bad, make you doubt yourself in not superficial but very omnipotent ways. Through and through, it's going to cause you to feel like there's only one person and it's like them. There's a tunnel vision, I would say, that the psychopath seems to cast their net and sort of, I would say, sort of morph the environment, if you will. This is not your average Sally. There's a feeling of them molding a room, molding a person, and not in an empowering way. In other words, that is in your best interest, but molding you according to suit their needs. So breaking you down, wearing you out, giving you pictures, texts, statements, compliments, certain things that they will sort of pit people against and create a jockeying of positions. So, what's important to understand, now we can talk about this for a long period of time, but I want you to understand how important it is for you to pry yourself away from this person. So their grip feels very all-consuming. In other words, it's difficult to take your mind off of them because of this addictive power. And it's on an unconscious attachment. So back in your mind that you're not even aware of, you can't even explain why they're so attractive, they're so seductive. You want to give them, your all, your attention, and then eventually it becomes giving them things and letting go of your values. So your values will slowly begin to be corrupted or corroded away as this person takes your attention off of what you should be paying attention to: your job, your family, your finances, your business. And they will do this by, you can usually, indicative of a female psychopath is an overriding of boundaries. In other words, there's this high risk behavior that they tend to engage in and invite others into, an overriding of your boundaries. And in other words, causing you to feel uncomfortable. Yet to them, they're going to try to get you to engage in a specific behavior, and then they become the one in control, but it's usually to your detriment. In other words, not feeling comfortable with, here, give me this information. Here, let's become intimate in this public place. Let's just, wait one more hour. And meanwhile, you need to go to your job. You need to attend to your kids. You need to do your housework. There's this feeling of slowly, and then it can be a rewarding, in the beginning that, everything is just so wonderful and la, 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 la with this person. And the yard work doesn't get done. Your job isn't done as well. You're losing sleep. You're missing appointments. You're missing meals. You're missing bills. You're not attending to your kids. What's important to you is slowly eroding or being corrupted. So there's a sort of annihilation of the integrity of other people. Yet the problem is with these individuals is that they're so enigmatic, meaning there's something puzzling, fascinating, attractive, where people feel that they don't want to take their eyes off of them for some reason. These are sort of the red flags or telltale signs they're in a relationship with someone who is manipulative or a female psychopath. And the problem is that it's rewarding in the beginning, but then when you get wind of or onto them and you start to hold them accountable, or you find out some information about them that is, unsavory, and you try to call them to task, they're going to be very evasive, aloof, and then becomes the manipulation. So how do they sort of get that manipulation? Realize that they will mirror back and project a value system which is unsupportive of the individual. So they will mimic other people's body language. So you almost feel like there is no separation between you and this other person. So suddenly you feel that your perspective is no longer valid, evidential, or real. And this is very scary. This is very, terrorizing. And it's because their body language, they will, however you're sitting, you're walking, your hand placement, they will mimic. And there's this feeling of what feels like oneness or togetherness, but it's really manipulation, meaning they then can direct your perspective, your decision making, what you focus on. Your sense of self-control is being really loosened, and they are in the takeover process. And the end result for them is not in your best interest. Basically, it's a depletion of perspective that you are bringing to the table that they are, as a psychopath might say, respectfully disrespecting. So using their body language, the way that you hold your head, the way that you're holding your back, the way that you're holding your arms, they'll sort of mimic you, and then, it's a subconscious process. And they'll then direct your value system. In other words, they'll take you down from the strength that you think that you have. In other words, your true strength, who you really are, your heart, your affection, your caring, your intelligence, what makes you you, your legacy, your family, your profession, your strength, who you are, becomes then devalued. I mean, in a very, very deep, abysmal way. How do they do this? Through mimicking your body language and doing essentially what is known as splitting or a smear campaign. So, in other words, they will target what you feel is your strength and they'll flip this and make it your weakness. So, they will use your strength against you and make it feel as a weakness. Then, eventually, you feel that you don't have anything. You don't have any values. You don't have any strength. You know, everything then becomes slowly externalized to them and they are the one with the power. So then you feel this growing feeling of powerlessness as you give it all away to them. You give away your own credibility, your own ability to think, your own ability to decide, your own ability to have a routine, discipline, go to bed on time, watch your finances, be on point with your job. They'll slowly take these away from you. And in the beginning, I would say for a lot of people, it feels like a relief. Oh, finally, I don't have to take life so serious, or this person's so funny, or this person is so close and I've never had anyone be this way. And it can be very quick, the attachment to this person. Yet realize there is a plan underneath this persona. In other words, a plan to get you to that devalue and discard phase where your head is spinning and you're wondering what's happening. So especially the behind your back, a female psychopath is a risk taker and oftentimes will hyper arouse. So by things that they do or say will be very seductive and getting you into a different sort of focus. In other words, what your true perspective is, they will then replace with their perspective. So there's this feeling of thinking differently around this person, thinking like a psychopath. You do not want to format your thought process according to them because it's designed to remove you from your own truth, your own heart, your own mind. And believe it when I tell you this. This is not a laughing matter. This is very serious. And it can be very terrorizing when you go all the way down that rabbit hole of being gaslighted. So the mimicking of body language, the splitting, meaning that they will specifically cause a target, meaning that they will look at your current relationships. I mean, you can be in the midst of a conversation with someone, and then here they come to just pull them away from you. Let me show you, the dessert table. And, just completely disrespectful. And then this other person is just like, they don't even realize what's happening. So it's these subtle forms of disrespect, removing you from relationships, removing you from conversations. Splitting and triangulation, meaning having a little cloistered group over here that doesn't know that they're part of this group over here, and then they just keep this like a ton of space plates spinning in the air, where oftentimes these don't all jive together. And then what's very strange is when you see the mask drop. So their outer appearance of being this affable personality, and then you just see when the mask drops and then there's nothing like the person when you see this sort of metamorphosizing to this empty, darkened, sort of very, I don't know, chilling aura or energy that comes off of them. The psychopath really has to always protect and hide this energy, so they know that they're different from other people. So they know that they have to put on this act and this persona and this facade to reel people in and get their posse. The psychopath will tell you they need these people like a protective blanket. They need these people to shield them and to be like their armor. The psychopath needs an audience. They need supply. they need to get people under their thumb. It's not liberating. It is beyond controlling and beyond disrespectful, because they're playing with another person's trust. They're playing with another person's trust. And so they'll try to break you down to the point where you go running after them. And what did I do wrong? Why didn't I get invited? Why didn't, and yet you see how they will target and try to get in, under your skin and do and say things that are designed to oftentimes mimic you or make fun of you. So if your sore spot, your soft spot, your weak spot is you don't like to be made fun of, or things of that nature, well, here they come doing that very thing. If you don't want to be singled out or left alone, well, here they are, to single you out and leave you alone, to cause you to doubt your existence, doubt who you are, doubt your I am, doubt your strengths, doubt your decision making, till everything just seems like it's complete chaos. Engineered chaos is what they desire to create in the hearts and minds of the people who they target. This is just a little bit of what the female psychopath will do. Once again, it's the maneuvering. If you feel that you're sort of maneuvered around like a pawn piece, or that they are moving other people around like pawn pieces, it's because they're trying to control the game. They're looking for the win. Don't be an object. Don't be their pawn. Don't allow them to move your perspective. See right through them like, a clear window. Just see through them and don't buy into their deception, their manipulation, their enigmatic, the things that they say that seem puzzling. Pry your eyes, pry your ears, pry your heart, pry your mind off of this person. Take 15, 20, 100 steps back and get some perspective. Get your wits back about you. Begin to focus on repetition and experience. I am me, and I am free, and I am okay, and so it is, and I love it this way. Begin to repeat, the fact that you are outside of their grip and that you no longer will buckle. You're no longer fall for it. You know better. For a lot of men, this can be very, and I'm saying men because I receive a lot of inquiries, but it might feel that your manhood sort of drops the bottom out. So it's not true. It's how this person will make you feel. Remember, the end result, unfortunately, is to take people down and go for the ruin, go for the destroy, go for the devastation, go for the hurt, go for the wound, that can take a long time to recover. I mean, if this is a mother, a sister, a family member, a boss, someone who you work with, you're going to feel this pretty intensely on a consistent basis until you educate yourself and know better. It's, give yourself credit on this one. No matter their title, be okay with saying no thank you, going no contact, going no conversation, no eye contact, no adherence. Just let them just be as invisible as the wind. Don't pay them any heed, any attention. Unfortunately, these people are some of the greatest manipulators, and they take reward by seeing other people struggle and hurt. So it gives them a sense of being power and control, and that's their reward. And so don't reward them. Don't give them attention. Don't give them feedback. Don't struggle or be wounded by this type of person. It's not a real wound. It's their projection. Their energy of projection is some of the most intense and overwhelming and engulfing. You need to extricate and pull yourself away like a suction cup. It might take, some real strength to get away, but get out of their field. And, you can even, if you have to engage with them, or someone who's like highly critical, you can say, what, out of all the people in the world, all the criticism that I've received really comes from you. And so you can kind of just, make a statement that shows that you know better. This can be help you to relieve a lot of tension. Out of all the relationships I've ever had, the only person who really has a problem with me is in our relationship. Out of all the relationships I've had, the only criticism I receive is from you. The only sort of game, the only person who's always trying to create a game, a psychological game is, in this relationship. It's really strange. And then just make a statement and then just walk away, such as to that tune, because it'll show that you know what's up and that you're no longer affected. You're not upset. You're not desperate. You're not freaking out. You don't worry about the past 2 years or however long you've been with them. Just, make the statement, and, out of all the relationships, that I have, the most disrespect that I've received is from right here. It's really interesting. It's, and just make that statement. Because oftentimes, if you look at it, it's very true. So speak your truth in a very indifferent and neutral manner, and take your footsteps and find the exit, find the door, find the keys to the ignition, walk away, engage in something else that deserves your attention. It's your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share, please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. Peace out. You know this.